Interview, man. We're here with Riley Gale, a power trip Keefe from Ghost Cult Magazine, ghostcultmag.com. Here at Webster Hall, New York City. Welcome back to New York, man.
Thank you.
And we're talking about the new record, Nightmare Logic. Could not think of a better titled album for this time in America right now, not to mention the record we need right now, because not just a kick-ass record that's pissed the fuck off, but smart. Really, really intelligent and smart. And I want to talk to you first about that, about lyrics, about politics, where you guys are coming from, because it's awesome.
Sure. Yeah. It was just sort of this, things felt so surreal with what was going on in the world, and so I read this term for certain horror movies, and it was dream logic, and so I turned that into nightmare logic, and it's movies where you can't really differentiate between what was real and what was fake, kind of like a dream. You're not really sure about things. A lot of David Lynch stuff, a lot of surrealism, The Shining, Suspiria. There's a lot, people even say Nightmare on Elm Street because he kills people in your dreams. So that was something that kind of stuck with me, as in if I'm stuck in this nightmare kind of world, if this is the reality that it is, I've got to figure out a way to navigate it. It's sort of, I'm try to be an optimistic person. I try to believe in people in general. My parents just brought me up that way to be, optimistic, and so a lot of it is trying to squeeze that drop of optimism out of all that shittiness. And what I realize it is it's the commonality of people, that we really have a lot more in common than we have differences, in my opinion. And I think if we realize that, we can do great things. I think we could really change the world for the better. And like I said, the 1% who control everything essentially and dictate millions and billions of lives, we still have there's 99 times more of us than there are them. So let's find a way to get rid of them. And if that means tearing some shit down, then so be it. But I'd rather create than destroy. So a lot of it is just about how to cope and navigate through what I see as a kind of hellish reality right now. Yeah, I wrote all that stuff before Trump was a viable candidate, so it kind of just seems even more relevant, kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it's kind of scary how it all came true. And you guys are right from the thick of it, really, down in Texas. It must be banana balls for anybody with a rational thought.
It's interesting because Texas is a victim of extreme gerrymandering, and you know what that is, right?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so for the viewers that don't know, it's basically where they can redraw district lines if say a Republican Party thinks that they're going to use it. So they can drop one neighborhood that might vote Democratic and then add another neighborhood that would vote Republican. So really, Texas is actually a very blue state. When you look at Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, they all vote and vote strongly blue. And what they do is they just jack up all these other places all around Texas, and that's how they maintain control. So, on the books, we're a conservative state, but really in the mindset of a lot of people, it's very liberal, especially in Austin. So I like Texas for that reason. I think it's getting more progressive. We're getting some progressive Republicans. Now, there's a lot of cleaning up that needs to be done. There's some pretty shitty fucking people there. Our fucking governor can suck my ass, but I think that there's progress to be made. I think, we're looking at having weed legalized, in the next couple of years. I believe a Texas judge just blocked a ban that was going to keep Texas from receiving federal funding for Planned Parenthood. So that's a good step in the right direction. But it has its problems, like any other state. But yeah, I don't know. I try to keep my head in politics because it's the greatest human drama we've got going, because it's our lives, And I'm not trying to make it sound like cheap entertainment, but it is what it is. It's important to stay vigilant on what these people are doing, because it's not just, they do something in the real world that has real world consequences. TV doesn't work like that. Your favorite character dies, it's no big deal. president gets shot in the face, things get weird. So
Totally. And nothing wrong with singing songs about dragons and swords and demons, but
No,
real
not
life
at
is
all.
much more scary.
I love plenty of escapist fantasy metal. Eternal Champion, one of my favorite bands. Jason Tarpey, the singer, is a brother to me. Sings pure fantasy. It does it amazingly. He has prose and great vocabulary, and I love that. But when I started Power Trip, I mean, it's in the name. I expected this to be a politically motivated band in some way. Yeah.
Right on. Let's talk a little bit about the music. The album is completely kick-ass from top to bottom. Hits you hard, it's fast, it's over pretty quick. Ghost Cult gave it a 9 out of 10, so props to you guys, and I appreciate you guys sharing
Thank you
that
for the nice
with your
score.
fans. Well, it's not about ratings, it's about quality, but I just like to point that out. When something's excellent, we mention it, and not everything is. And yeah, man, from top to bottom, just cutting, great productions. I had Adam Risk. I can't ever say his name correctly.
Arthur Rizek.
Sorry, Rizek. Sorry. And
Nope.
yeah, man, great production and a killer album. Lots of riffs, lots of brutality, and a very throwback vibe to me. Like very, like all the little elements, a little bit of everything in there. So yeah, just talk a little bit about that and just how you guys put it together musically.
Arthur is like the sixth member of our band. I mean, the album wouldn't be, and neither would the last album be, what they were without Arthur's help. He's just an incredible producer, knows how to talk to people, to get the best ideas out of us, to get the best performances. Keeps a level head in the studio, keeps a very positive vibe. So, the big difference between this one and the last one is the last one was our first LP we ever recorded. Well, Chris, our drummer, had done some work with his other bands, but for me and Blake, this was a learning process. And so we came in the second time, we were a lot more focused in what we want to do, and we were much better at executing it. And so that was really good. We set out to make the album shorter, and I think we did. We definitely did. But we wanted the fast parts to be faster, the heavier parts to be heavier, and I wanted to make something that was catchier without losing substance. So I think we did a pretty good job in succeeding in doing all of that. And I'm proud of everyone's hard work that went into it. Sorry.
No worries.
But yeah, Blake usually has an idea, comes in, jams it with Chris. They built a loose song structure. I come in and try and figure out where the vocals will work and for how long, and then when we get in the studio, that's where we start really hammering out some of the more intricate stuff. So yeah, we went to a nicer studio this time, the Echo Lab in Denton, which is where True Widow does a lot of their records, good friends of ours, and tracked the drums and the guitars there to get this cleaner, more organic kind of sound out of there. And then we went to Philly and did the vocals and the leads with Arthur in his studio. And it turned out great, In my mind, it's sort of like a brand new buzzsaw. It's very clean and sturdy in the middle, but very rough and sharp around the edges, It'll fuck you up.
It's a great analogy. You should be a writer, beside music and lyrics. But
I do so.
Yeah, awesome. So just lastly, as you guys have always been real road warriors, tour dogs and everything, and you're going to bring this new music to the masses, what do you hope people who have never seen you before walk away from a Power Trip show feeling like or thinking? Do you think you can shape hearts and minds with music?
I'm going to try. I don't know. I don't really do a lot of preaching on stage. I just hope maybe people will look below the surface of what's going on, some of the imagery. If I can get a kid to look at something a little deeper, then I think I've done my job.
Right on. That's righteous. Riley, Power Trip, thanks a bunch. Nightmare Logic is out now on Southern Lord Records. I'm Keefe from Ghost Cult. Peace.